Hey guys, welcome to my channel and I'm back again with another really interesting video. In this video guys, we are going to introduce you to the fastest growing generative AI model in the open source world, and that's the Mistral AI model, which has been trained on 7 billion parameters. Guys, I want to introduce you to this model because this model performs much better than the Llama 2 model which was released by Meta. Llama 2 model is also trained on 7 billion parameters, but Mistral AI beats it in almost every single parameter. It has awesome latency, and not only that, it has awesome accuracy in its response as well. So let's start the video guys by introducing you to Mistral AI. So first thing first guys, what is Mistral AI? Mistral AI is basically a small company that is creating many generative AI models, and it has made all of them open source. That is correct guys. If you go to Hugging Face, you will see that all the Mistral AI models are available here for you to download, and you can use them in your product and you can make your own chatbot applications with them. You don't have to actually go to something like OpenAI or Google Gemini, which are both paid models. Instead, you can just use Mistral AI's open source model and make your own product free of cost. So that's one advantage of it. Now let's see in a quick start way how you can get started with Mistral AI. So if you just go to mistral.ai website guys, you will see that there is a quick start button here. Once you click on the quick start button guys, you will see the introduction to the Mistral AI models. Now what you can see here is something called as APIs that they have exposed for you to just test out these models or use them for your own conversational purposes. But the catch here is that Mistral AI, although has shown these APIs here, it is not providing any API keys to anybody. So basically, you know that in case of Google Gemini or in case of OpenAI, you have to obtain an API key, right? And the same thing is with Mistral AI as well. You have to actually get an API key, and once you get that API key, you will be actually able to put that in your REST API and use it. But when you go to the Mistral AI's platform page, just like me, and you click on API key, you can see that you will be just registered in a waiting list. So Mistral AI is only invite only API keys for now. So if you want to use Mistral AI model as a REST API, you won't be able to do so because it might take you into a waiting list and it will take you some time to obtain that API key. So if you are not a software developer and you just want to test out in like a Swagger sort of manner, unfortunately you won't be able to do so. But what you can do is still use this model through some other tools and experiment on them on your own machine. And one such method is using Ollama. So if you go to the Ollama page, so ollama.ai, that's another company that provides you a way to basically test out these models on your local machine. So if you go to ollama.ai and you go to the, just find out the Mistral AI model. So now you can see I'm in the Mistral library here. So once you get to that page guys, you can just scroll down a bit and you will see the commands that you can use in the Ollama CLI to actually test out this model. Now if you don't have Ollama CLI on your machine, it's pretty straightforward. You just go to download and you can get the Ollama CLI on your Windows machine or whichever machine you have. Once you have the CLI open, then you can just run this command Ollama run Mistral. When you run the Ollama run Mistral command, just remember guys that Mistral model is a 7 billion parameter model guys. So obviously it's a bigger model. It will take a long time for it to download it on your system because this command basically downloads the model on your system. So it's going to take some time, and not only that, your system must have at least 8 GB of RAM to run this. In fact, I would recommend a higher RAM if you want to run Ollama with Mistral model on your local machine, just to get a little bit of better performance. Once you have the model, you can just write Ollama run Mistral : and the text that you want to complete or the text you want to ask to the model. For example, you can ask here what is Google, or any question, or can you summarize this text for me, what is AI going to be in the next 2 years, so something like that. and then you will see the response on the CLI. And this way, even though you are not a software developer, just by doing some installation and some click steps, you still will be able to test out the awesome Mistral AI models. Now, in this video guys, we are not going to use Ollama to actually test this model, because we are software developers and we know how to code. So what I am going to do is I am actually going to run this model in a Google Colab notebook and teach you step by step how you can actually create an application with it through Google Colab. So let's get to that first. So this is my Google Colab notebook guys, and do not worry that about this notebook. I will release this notebook in the GitHub link which will be mentioned in the video description below. Now there are certain steps that are written here, but before I get to these steps, I would like to tell you that all these steps can also be found on the Hugging Face website. So let's first go to the Hugging Face website and see from where I actually got these steps from. So this is the Hugging Face website guys. Now just ignore this page which is currently open. If you want to try out the Mistral models, all you have to do is go to this search box and just type Mistral. Okay. And once you just type Mistral, you will see that you are getting the 8 into 7 billion instruct model, 8 into 7 billion version 1 model, and all these other models, right? Now you can just click on these models and you will actually land up on a page like this, and where you can see in the files and versions, you are able to get all the configuration files of these models. Now as I told you that this is a huge model, and almost all the tensor files here are like 4 GB, 5 GB or something. So this is like a 20 GB model. So if you want to download all of this on your machine, you can, but I wouldn't recommend that. So what you can actually do is, if you have a Google Colab notebook, or if you have like a Kaggle space somewhere, or your own AWS server machine, then you can go ahead and try out some Hugging Face commands which can give you the way to download this model. Okay. But in our case guys, we are just using a Google Colab notebook which doesn't have this much disk space to actually get this model running. And also if you have such a heavy model, it will take some time latency wise as well. So what we are going to do, we want to make this video quick and fast, and for that we are going to use the Mistral AI model, but we will use the Mistral AI model from the block which is the quantized Mistral AI model. Now what is a quantized model guys? Now I told you in my previous video, if you have not seen my Llama CPP video, that is a really important video for you to understand the quantized models guys. But in a very short sense, quantized models are a way for you to run these large language models on your local machine without any CPU, without any GPU. So if you basically have a simple MacBook or a simple Windows laptop and you want to run these large language models on your local machine, the quantized model is the way to do so. Now, the bloke which is a profile on Hugging Face is basically Mr. Tom Jobbins, who has made all of our lives really beautiful, because he has been doing the quantization of these heavy large language models and he has been uploading them on Hugging Face. So if you just go to his either you can go to his profile, or you can just search the GGUF version of Mistral model, then you will actually land up on this page only. And if I just search here Mistral, you can see that the Mistral 7 billion model has been uploaded here in the in the quantized measure, where you have got the GPTQ file, the AWQ file, and the GGUF file. Now I'll not go into the deep of why these files have different extension, but I'll tell you what extension we are going to use. So we are going to use the GGUF extension guys, GGUF version of this model, which is right over here. Why we are using that? Because guys, what we are going to do is we are going to use this model on our local machine. But you can't just use any large language model just like that. You need a Python module to create a inference between that model and your machine. You need that Python module to basically run the model with some predictions, right? And the Python module that we are going to use is called as Llama CPP. Now Llama CPP works with the GGUF model extension. So that's why we are going to use the GGUF extension here. Now once you land at this page guys, and you just scroll a little bit down, you will see that they have provided all different types of versions for this model. Now you can just go here and check out which model version actually suits you. In our case guys, what we are going to use is we are going to use a Q4 model with the medium size. So this one, basically you can see that you have smaller models also, which are smaller size models, Q3 Q2 version, and then you have got larger models also, which you can see here. However, the difference here is guys that the smaller model will give you a little bit of loss in your accuracy, but the larger models will not give you that loss, but they will be too long to run. They might take a higher latency. So we'll just take a medium model here, and in which case we are using a Mistral 7 billion parameter instruct model, but with with a medium size. Now also guys, these are the commands which I am just going to show you on my Google Colab, but these are the commands that you can just use to install the Hugging Face and to get this model on your machine. So just do pip install Hugging Face Hub and then Hugging Face CLI download the model, and the entire command is here. This is going to download the model on your local directory. And then finally, once you have the entire model with you, you can run the pip install C transformers, or in our case we are going to use the pip install Llama CPP Python to actually run this model. That will be our own approach of using this model guys. Now let's go to the Google Colab notebook and let's try that. And one more thing guys, you can actually if you don't want to use Google Colab, you want to use your local laptop, you can do the same thing. All you have to do is you can either download the model from the files and version. So you can go to this place here and click the download file button, or you can do the Hugging Face CLI steps which I just showed you. Now let's go to our Google Colab notebook and just go through these steps. Okay, I have already executed these steps. So the first step is the Hugging Face Hub. Then I am also installing LangChain because we also are going to create our own prompt templates. Then with Hugging Face CLI, now I have downloaded the model on my local directory. Now once you download the model on your local directory guys, you will see that the model appears here in your Google Colab notebook. And finally I am pip installing the Llama CPP Python because this is the Python model we are going to use for this model. Now this is the code actually for creating an object of this model guys. Basically I import the Llama from the Llama CPP package. Just remember guys that the package name is Llama CPP, the class name is Llama, but it is not actually closely tied up with the Llama models. You can use Llama class with any quantized model. Now simply callback manager, streaming std out callback manager, these are actually not important. They are just to display the output a little bit better. Now the important thing is that you create your Llama object, your Llama model object, with a model path that is of that gguf file which you just downloaded on your local directory. Now the temperature is the randomness of the model that you want in your response. The max tokens, the top P, these are just regular parameters that you want to ensure that these are the maximum tokens your model can take to make some prediction. The top P is basically the topmost answer you want to display, and the callback manager is just to format your response in a better way. And verbose is true. Basically you just want to display whatever steps are being taken through, you want to display that. Now let's go to the the ultimate part where we get the prompt and we actually send this prompt to the Mistral model. Now I'm going to run it again, but just to show you the output which I executed before, you can see that once you give this prompt, what is Google, it is actually taking the prompt and it is giving us the answer in this way, where Google is a multi-model technology, blah blah blah, and it is pretty accurate. Whereas when you were using Llama model, it was a little bit longer to run, and it was not giving that accurate answer also. But to show you guys one more time, I am going to change the prompt and I am going to ask the question, who is Mr. Beast? So who is Mr. Beast? And let's run this prompt guys. Now this prompt is actually, it takes at least 1 minute to run on my Google Colab. Might take a little bit longer or might take a little bit less on your machine, depends. But while this is running, guys, I will explain you why I am talking so much about the Mistral AI model. When we have got something like Google Gemini, when we have got something like OpenAI, which are much faster, why are we actually talking about the Mistral model? And the answer for that is, guys, that the Mistral AI models are completely open source models. By that I mean is that you can train these models with your own data. You can download them on your local machine and you can use them in your product. When you have these models on your machine, on your own server running, and it's trained on your own data, actually it is much more secure than calling a Google Gemini API or calling an OpenAI API and sending them your data for some processing. So if you have got a product which you want it to be secure and you want to make a chatbot for that, open source models are the best way to do so, because you can put them on your own server and you don't have to expose your data to any other REST API which is not in your domain. Now, if you want to actually train your own Mistral AI model, the one way is that you can just download this model on your local and then you can train it in your own AWS server. But I can imagine that most of you do not have that privilege. So you can just go to Hugging Face and click on the train button. Go to the Hugging Face here and click on the train button. Actually can't train the GGUF model, but if you want to train the original Mistral model, we can definitely do that. So let's go to the Mistral model and click on the train button, and you can click on auto train. Now you can create an auto train project where you can have your own space and you can select the Docker machine, select the auto train, select the hardware. The CPU one is free, but it takes longer to train, and then you can provide your own data for it to actually train. Okay, and this is how you can train your own model with your own data in Hugging Face and get the model with you in like 2-3 days. You might get the model to download for your own self. However, guys, the important thing here is that if you want your model to be much more secure, you don't train it on Hugging Face. You can have some commands which you can use on your local to train this model with your own data as well. Now, let's go back to our Google Colab notebook, and you can see that it has generated our output. It took 1 minute, but it has generated, and it says the Mr. Beast, who is his real name, he is a YouTuber, blah blah blah. You can obviously format this output in a much better manner, but you can see here, guys, how awesome Mistral AI is. It is performing much better than other open source models. You can train this model on your machine or on your Hugging Face. It gives you accurate results, and even in the latency manner is much more better. And not only that, it is free of cost. You don't have to pay anything to use this model in your product, unlike OpenAI, and I'm pretty sure Google Gemini will also later make its model paid as well. So that was the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are also excited for the future products of Mistral AI. I am definitely excited, and if they get another product, I will try my best to create another video on their more innovative approaches. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, then please do subscribe and hit the bell icon for future notifications of more such programming, coding related videos, innovation videos, AI videos. If you do like this video, guys, then I would be really delighted if you can hit the like button and share this video with your friends. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, feedback for me, please do write down in the comment section below. I would be happy to read them. Thank you so much for watching again. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care and bye bye.